So let's talk about visual identity. So as we want to attract people to the church, we want to attract them to what we're doing. One of the first things that attract people is what they see. So as we go about our projects, we want to make sure that our websites, that our signage, that everything that we do is done in a way that's positive, that's attractive, and that's united as we pull people into our funnel of the Adventist Church. Brand is something that is more than just the logo. Brand is about everything that we do. Brand is about the things that we put on our magazines. You and I are the biggest brand ambassadors of the Adventist Church that exist. So brand is something that is more than just the visuals, but we also equate the visuals a lot with brand. So how do we use the brand of the church? How do we enhance the brand of the church in our media projects? Over the last a year and a half, we have been working on enhancing the brand of the church. We have released the logo, the updated logo, and some guidelines that are on the identity.adventist.org site. And I just wanted to share with you a few things that are coming in the next couple weeks that will be available to you. Some of them are there now, and some of them will be available shortly. So we have gotten lots and lots and lots of questions about signage. And we initially had a few basic sign options there, and Tanya, one of our designers, has been working a lot over the last couple months, over the last year really, on signage. So we will have some more guidelines that will be available, some more ideas and options, and we're always available to answer questions that you might have about general identity things, but also about signage specifically. The logo, as you know, is available in several different versions. So we have the isolated logo on the left. We have the standard logo on the right. Then we also have the logo left aligned, centered, and without the actual logo mark. This is just the text version of that. So what I just showed you is the English version. But what about all the other languages? Currently we have, I think it's 96 different versions, and all of those are available now on identity.adventist.org in some easy to download versions, and this just kind of shows you a little bit of the different languages. It's too quick to really read as we go. But under each of those languages, you can download the 3 different configurations that I showed you, and it's available in different file formats and different color as well. So that's something that we have added. As you're working on your projects, sometimes it is helpful. I know I always found myself going back to download the logo again or go reference the colors. And so we've been looking for ways to how to make this easier for designers as they work through projects to have the right, correct versions of things available as they go. So we found 2 different options that we're going to try out. And the first one is using Adobe Creative Cloud libraries. So if you use Photoshop, if you use Illustrator, InDesign, the Adobe suite, you will be able to subscribe to a shared library showing up here on the right-hand side that has the official colors as well as the different logos options available. On the top left up here, it's got a creation grid example. You can just drag that onto your page and scale it across and then add the marks for the grid. Just a few different things that can make it easier. We also are going to have a version of this using the Lingo app. So you can download the app to your desktop on the Mac, and you can see the different, you can actually drag out PDF, SVGs, PNGs, and JPEGs of any of the logos that will be in there. People like to have email signatures. And so that was one thing that many people have asked for, and so we have worked to develop a tool that can allow you to, you just fill out the form, and then it has instructions on how to install that onto your Outlook or the Mac Mail or the various mail software available. So all of those tools will be on the identity.adventist.org site in the next couple weeks. So moving on to the web, we have a lot of websites, and they are in varying degrees of quality to look at. And all the sites up here are sites that come from the General Conference. So I can poke fun at them because we have been working to try and improve that as we go. Over the last 2 years, you have heard me talk before about the Adventist Living Pattern System and design systems in general. We have been working to try and refine what we have in ALPS and to try and draw that together with the identity guidelines. So just to take a step back, when we talk about a design system, there are really several different individual elements that go into that. To start off, you have the editorial style guide. That is how we talk about who we are in writing. So whether it's using the term pastor, how we tend to use pastor versus reverend, or we try not to use SDA, but we use Seventh-day Adventist or Adventist. That's a style guide. Many of you are familiar with the AP style guide as a writing style. That's also another style guide for editorial. Next, we have the visual style guide. So this is the colors, this is the logos, this is how those things interact together, and how you can use them in different applications. And then the last piece is a pattern library. So a pattern library is a collection of patterns that have been designed. Typically, this is for web, but they also are available for mobile apps. There are common standard ways of doing things that add a consistency between different websites, between different applications, and between the different projects that we do. So all of those wrapped together by something that is the principles. That's really the underlying reason why each of those aspects work together. And that's what makes up a design system. So what are common design systems? I see a few Macs out here. Each one of you is using the result of a design system. The Windows has a similar type system. If you're using a Windows application, you know that it feels like a Windows 8 or a Windows 10 app. If you're using a Mac app, I know I've used the Mac platform for quite a while, you can tell the difference between an application that is native to the Mac and an application that was not native, that was ported over from it. If you've used an Android device or any Google services really over the last couple of years, you've seen material design. That is another design system that Google created to try and unite their products together. They were a huge, sprawling company, and as you went from product to product, the Google logo was still there, but every experience was a little different. Over the last 3 or 4 years, they have worked to try and depreciate the old interfaces and add the new material design to that, and you see that from Android to Chrome OS. You see that online, whatever you're using, even on the iOS apps from Google, you see the effects of material design there. The travel company Lonely Planet has had a design system around for a while. And even more and more governments are looking to find ways that they can improve the experience of their customers, which is their citizens, as they use their website and use their applications. So how does that apply to the Adventist Church? In 2013, we released this version of Adventist.org. And as part of the planning that happened, we said, how can we make this be inclusive not just for the Adventist.org site, but also for any site in the Adventist Church? So at the same time as that was released, we released 2 different templates that became available to anyone who wanted to use them. At the time, it was a big advance in what we were doing, but it was also limited in what you could do. It was very, very rigid in how it was set up. And so as it was late 2015, early 2016, we began working on the Adventist Living Pattern System, which was the next version, really, of the design system for the church. So this is what you see today when you go to Adventist.org. This is available now on WordPress, on Drupal, on Typo3, and many other platforms. We have probably over 5,000 websites that are running using this, and this is available to anyone in the Adventist Church to use. However, we have made an update to that, and that is going to be rolling out on our sites in the next couple weeks and months, and it is available again for everyone to use. Now, many people have asked me, why are we making this change 2 years after we released the initial ALPS system? The reason is because of the identity update. Both of these projects were happening on kind of a separate timeline, and the ALPS got started, and then the identity project got started, and they never fit very well together. And so we felt this was a really good time to try and bring ALPS up to the same standard that we had with the identity project. People were wanting to know, what about the creation grid? How can we use that on the web? What about the new typefaces? The typefaces we were using in ALPS 2 were not really the same as what we have now. And the logos have updated as well. So let's talk a little bit about the design principles that we used as we worked through the ALPS 3 update. And as we go through the next couple of slides, I'll start to show you some of the new features in the new version. So we had 6 different principles. There were 3 of them that carried over from the previous version. That was the last 3 on the right. But on the left, we have celebrate rest, provide guidance, encourage discovery, and then we have the build a foundation, allow customization, and build community. So this is the new ALPS 3. This is one template of it. There are many different ways of implementing this. It has a lot of flexibility in what we can do. It's fully responsive, and it is fast and easy to keep up to date. So on the area of celebrating rest, we wanted, of course, the Sabbath is an important part of who we are as Seventh-day Adventists. So the Sabbath column is there available. As we look through the examples, most of these have the Sabbath column on them. However, that is something that is it does not have to show up on every page or on every site. There is options for leaving that off where it's appropriate. We also tried to open up some of the space on the site and make it easier to read and easier to flow through the pages as you're browsing and visiting the site. So this is an example of a long-form article page with a call to action there at the bottom. We had some comments about how the text seemed to be one weight, and we wanted to try and add some variety to that where it was appropriate. So we developed some options in that of being able to be more quiet, more loud, more descriptive. There's several different ways that text can be used, and that would be in teasers as well as through other templates throughout the site. The call to action buttons in ALPS 2 were were very binary. It was either there's a button there, and it's this big green button here, or maybe it was a big yellow button, or it's not a button, and it's just a standard link. But there wasn't a lot of options in between. So we also have tried to add some variety to that. This is one type. We have louder buttons. They're not all showing up here. I think, yeah, they're on this page as well. So there's some variety into how those get used. In the area of providing guidance, we wanted to lead our visitors through the page. So there's a visual hierarchy that is important in helping people to find what is important and what is of lesser importance. So this is an example page of a news page. And you can see there's a little more variety that we have as you browse down through the page. The user-based navigation, we have had lots of comments about either, so we didn't have enough space for navigation. How do you expand and give more options for people to navigate? So across the top there are some options, and those scale depending on the width of the page. So as the page gets narrower, some of those options disappear. However, if you click the menu on the right-hand side, or you click the Sabbath column on the right-hand side, this menu will come out, slides out from the side, and you have every option available to you to browse through the site. On the area of encouraging discovery, we're working to try and add areas for related stories into the site, areas that you can point people to other resources. As Sam and others talked about earlier today, we want to build this ecosystem so that we're not just promoting what's on our own site, but we can send people to the Hope Channel. We can send people to local resources in their region, but build on the network that we have as a Seventh-day Adventist church with all the sites and resources we have available. Search is also very important. So you'll see the search button in the upper right-hand corner. You can either click the search or you click the Sabbath menu in the side, and the search box comes out here as well, allowing visitors to search for something, and the results come up down below. We also added a little more descriptive, a little bigger footer to go on the site, with the idea that we want to help people understand where each site fits within the broader Adventist church. So as you can see at the bottom of this site here, we have Adventist.org is the official site of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. You might want to put something like whatever conference name is the official site for the Seventh-day Adventist Church in whatever region that is. And as the visitor moves into the menu drawer where there's a little more space available, you'll see it says, on this one is Tell the World is an official media production of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And then down below, we have a brand promise, or a statement that tells more about the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So as people are visiting your site, they can understand where you fit within the broader picture of our Seventh-day Adventist ecosystem. We also want the system to be very foundational to what we do. Not everything that you might need for every website is available in there at this point. However, there are lots of things that you can do with what's there, and we're always adding to the patterns and to the options that are available within the system. So this is an example of a media pattern block. On the upper left, you see it exposed this way, and then it can be exposed the opposite direction depending on how you want to vary the site. It might be a larger picture. This is the same type of a thing without a picture. This is one that has a kind of a read more, show less button on the side. Things that open and close as they go, allowing you to vary the way things are displayed. We also have image sliders or image examples with text over the image or text under the image, depending on how it's needed. And we have photo galleries. These are inline photo galleries that can expand from what you see on the left to what's showing up here on the right. When it comes to customization, this is where it is really important for us as a global church, because we don't want to say every site needs to look the same. With the thousands of sites we have, it would dilute who we are as individual regions, as individual media centers or productions or whatever the site is about. We don't want people to lose track of where they are. So a design system allows us to pick and choose some of these pieces to put within the basic structure. And using some of those rules that are underlying how you build it, you can place these different elements in the site and still have something that works well together. On the previous system, on the previous version, we had 7 different color options. We have expanded that into, if I remember right, it's 16, 18 colors. The ones that are highlighted in red on the screen here are original colors from the previous system. And then we tried to divide them up into bright hues as well as muted hues. So depending on how you want to display your content. And then we added a gray, darker line as well. So in practice, this is the same page using different color examples that are within the system. There are varying ways of displaying images, and I will share with you a URL where you can browse through all of this at a little slower pace here when we're done. So while the system has quite a few different templates built into it, don't think of the templates as the end of where the system is. All these pieces, all these individual pieces are like the bricks and boards and nails and screws of a house. They can be put together into a house. They can be a 2-story house, a 1-story house. They can be done in a variety of ways. So we provide the templates here that we need right off, but we will continue adding to them and refining them, and you might find ways that work better for you that you can contribute back into what we're doing so that other people can take advantage of that as well. And the last element is part of building community. It's part of what we feel is really core to what we do. We want to hear from you. We want to share with you. This is not just something that is coming from the general conference and you have to take it exactly as it is. We want this to be something that flows and works with your region and with your needs. So I love to get feedback. I'm always open to hearing from you as to how this could work better for what you do. All the code, for those that are into the code side of things, is freely available on GitHub. And we are happy to take contributions from other people because we only have so much time and budget to work on this. But if other media organizations, if other people can invest in something to improve it, we're happy to include that back into the system. So this is something that's available for anyone in the entire church. We have right to left templates that are available. So if you want to take a look at how this works in what you're doing, if you want to browse through the site, you can visit alps.adventist.io/v3. If we also have this available in WordPress that will be coming in the next couple weeks. If you're on Net Adventist, you can use this today. This is available across the Net Adventist system. It's coming soon in Typo 3. It's available in Modex. So we have a lot of different options to make it easy to use. The WordPress version we're really excited about because there's some new changes that are coming in WordPress that make it easier to build flexible sites. And this is something that will make using ALPS so much better and easier to use for what you're doing. So I hope this is helpful for you. I'd love to hear feedback as we go. So thank you.